New year, new us. A year and a half into Unscriptd, the rebranding, so it's exciting to be back.
Praying, I'm not also thinking, oh, I really want this. Our voices are very loud. His is very soft and powerful versus ours. We have like a bunch of crap in our heads, and sometimes it feels, it's God's voice, but in reality, it's just our voice, and we already made up our mind for God.
If I've been support, like how long does that take? How long does my support take for it to transition back to me getting support? 2026, we're entering a new year for me. Really opens up in reflection, almost like a mirror of like, oh crap, I didn't do this very well last year. A resolution, in my opinion, for a new year is you just being honest about the things that are just obvious and not uncovering the things that are not so obvious.
2026 planning, what are the overall categories that we want to talk about? Business, it's finances, it's personal, it's relationships. We'll start getting into the nitty gritty of each individual piece, right? We did high level. Let's break it down more now on how we're going to accomplish these big goals, right?
Welcome back, Unscripted Podcast. 2026, new year.
I feel like I did like the millennial. How you doing?
Yeah. New year, new you, dude. You're in white. What's going on here?
Oh, man. Laundry.
Laundry? 6 months later, just,
Laundry, man.
Your go-to seemed to be navy blue and black, dude, just straight up.
Yeah, navy blue and black.
Yeah, that's it.
It's all right. It's all right, though. I'll surprise you on the next one.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. I'm waiting for that vintage sweater that you kept on, the puffy pink one that you brought up last year.
Oh, the one that you have?
I don't have it. It's not in my arsenal. It will be, though, this year. 100%.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, man. New year, new us. A year and a half into Unscriptd, the rebranding. So it's exciting to be back.
Oh, very exciting, man. Very exciting. I'm excited for what we're doing, what's happening. I'm excited for 2026. It's kind of cliche, but I really am. There's a lot of good stuff happening. And last year was a very hard year. So it's nice to be in a new year.
Sorry, I'm just drinking stuff over here.
I got to edit that out.
No, I'm going to leave it. We're Unscriptd. Okay. No, I know we talk about that every single time, but it's good for this one because that leads into my question for you, as we bring these back to just like conversations. What are your thoughts on New Year's resolutions and specifically how important, because I know you brought up that you're doing planning for 2026. Me, when I saw your text message, I was like, well, it's not unfamiliar to be planning about what your future looks like, but specifically the way that you lined it out in text, I was kind of like interested. I was interested to text you back and ask you more about it, but then at the same time, I didn't want it to come across seeming like, not genuine about like my interest, which I really am interested in what your process looks like for going into a new year and how you align that with what God has in store for you and your purpose.
So I think it starts just understanding the season that you're going into, the season that you're coming out of. If you don't really know the season that you're coming into or coming out of, it's hard to plan for what's to come, right? A lot of stuff can be aligned with what we want and, and things that are kind of more head thought than heart thought.
Then hard thought, is that what you said?
Yeah. And so I think a lot of times we can get into our heads and go, we want all this stuff to happen. And then sometimes that doesn't align with our heart. And like halfway through, we're like, oh, well, why didn't you haven't accomplished this yet, or you haven't, whatever it may be. And you're just going, oh yeah, I didn't really align with what I thought it was going to be. So I had to like pivot. Right. And so to minimize the amount of pivots that you have to have within a year, you have to have, it has to align heart waves as well. So coming out of, I would say the last quarter of 2025, I really felt like, I don't think it was a much as a harvest season. It was a harvest season for the business, right? The business is doing well. We're getting contracts,
Consulting.
right? We're building, right? We're closing, and so it's good. But what does it look like in the grand scheme of things, right? So like instead of going to a boardroom and talking about this, or going to every advisor that I know and talking about this. Like, let me go to the advisor that I know is never failing, right? And so, okay, God, like, how do you want this? Like, you have done this, right? When I said I wanted to surrender, like my career, I want to surrender everything to you. I really meant it, right? And so, and how I can go back and show that same type of not even respect, but the same type of surrender to God is continuously going to Him for everything that I have. And so that's really what kind of pushed us to figure out what does this look like for 2026. How do we take scripture as our sounding board, that if we're trying to make a decision, we can't make a decision without first going, well, what does scripture say that we need to do, right? And so go for it.
Question before we get too deep. How do you know, from your perspective and interpretation, that you're coming out of a season going into the next year versus just continuing into the season that you might have transitioned into mid-year the year before?
Yeah.
Isn't that
I
difficult? Like, from your interpretation, and not to cut you off, but would Q4 be the last season that you're in? Because sometimes maybe that's the
Not
first
really.
quarter of the new season that you're in.
So if you think about it as seasons, as like, um, spring, summer, fall, winter, then yeah, it would be the last season. But I don't. Those are just descriptors to have people understand what I mean by going into a season, right? Because it's most people don't get the concept well, and
Yeah.
so, but if you put it in that concept, people go, "Oh, okay, I get it." So for me, I've always, and you felt this as well, right? Is sometimes doors are just closing. You're going, why? Like, why is this closing? Why are these doors closing? Or why isn't it as busy as I thought it would be? Or maybe it's just like you're just like, okay, like I'm going, and these opportunities are just there, but they're not just, they're just, everything just feels right, but it's not. Everything's not closing, right? That's a signal to me, right? That's a first signal for me to go, okay, am I running out of harvest now and going into, am I going to a resting season? Am I going to a tilling season, right? What am I going into? Right. And I think after that, it's really just being in tune with your own faith and who you are with in your own personal relationship with God, to go, what historically does that look like for me? Right. Does God usually have me in a resting season throughout the year? Probably, yeah, absolutely. And I know that there's like a working season, right? Like you need to work it. And then you have like
That's
a
totally.
stewardship season. And
Yeah.
so for me, right now, even going to now, seasons don't have to be 3 months. Seasons don't have to be 2 weeks. Seasons can be a year. It doesn't. I don't know. Like your season's way different than my season, right? Your season can be 3, 4 years in a row, and then all of a sudden, God's like, "Hey, rest." Right? Like it doesn't have to be on a year thing, right? You
That's a good
can
point.
be harvesting for 2 years, and then he's like, "Hey, work and keep it."
So you're just,
Right?
yeah, you're just kind of talking off of your own personal
Exactly.
experience. You're coming out of a season going into almost
Yeah.
a, yeah,
How others can understand that is just your own personal relationship. If you're not close, then you'll never know, right? And so the one thing that I had to start doing some months ago is go, okay, am I making my mind up for God? Right? If I'm telling you I'm praying about it, but I've already made my mind up about it, right? Then why am I bringing him in? Why am I inviting him into this if I've already made up my mind and going to do it without him anyways, right? And so I've had to like sort of surrender that thought to go, okay, I'm not going to even have that in my thought process anymore, right? Now it's going to be like, what am I really surrendering to you, and what is it that you are wanting from this, right? And so, and then just praying through that and making sure that when I'm praying, I'm not also thinking, "Oh, I really want this." So this is because our voices are very loud. His is very
yeah,
soft and powerful,
yeah.
right? It's very soft and very authoritative, versus ours. We have like a bunch of crap in our heads, and it always, and sometimes it feels like it's God's voice, but in reality, it's just our voice, and we already made up our mind for God.
Yeah,
And
you said
so,
that the other day, which I thought was really interesting.
yeah, and so, I want to dismantle that, and it's not perfect, right? I have days where I'm like, um, uh, like like last night, we were at Dick's and we were looking at a bunch of, and I'll get back on track here in a minute. We were at Dick's and we're trying to find some like dumbbells and kettlebells. And so we found some, and then like Jessica had like this guy was selling a full set of dumbbells, and still is full set of dumbbells on Facebook Marketplace, 5 to 50s or 5 to 55s for 650, right? With a stand for like 750. I was like, that's a killer deal,
It is
right?
like a $2,500 investment.
Exactly. I was like, we should like capitalize on absolutely. And she was like, do we need it? She was like, I thought we were just building something out that could get you to where you needed to be tomorrow, not what you wanted to be tomorrow. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And I was like,
Hey, but
you know,
babe.
because we had like, we're like, okay, like what's the budget, right? $500, right? Let's put we put a $500 budget on there. And so like within like Walmart, we were able to find everything online. And so we put it in there and it was like 524. And I was like, oh, great. And she was like, why are we going to go over budget if this is what we need? She goes, we can always add on. She goes, you don't need the best and brightest right now, Michael. You don't need to. She goes, we can get what we need today, and then next month we can buy another set of dumbbells, or the next month we can buy a bench, or the next we can just add to it. You don't need a full on gym. And I'm like, fine, that's fine. That
Yeah,
that
maybe
works.
just go out and get one mammoth, don't get 3, you know?
Exactly. And so, but it allowed me to go, okay, like we had already kind of like prayed through like what we wanted for the gym and what we were wanting to do. And we had already set the budget and we had already done everything. But then it's like new opportunity came up that I was like, ooh, kind of want that. And then I had to be like, okay, well, that's not really what we're supposed to be doing. And so
Yeah.
it was good for her to like check me in that. So with that, um, when I'm planning out, I've said a lot. Any are we still on track?
We don't have a track, brother. We're unscripted.
Huh?
There's no track here.
I just want to make sure that you weren't just like glazing over, going, dude, you're talking a lot.
Does it look like I am? No, I have a
No,
question.
no.
Or I
Yeah, go
have,
for it.
um, or maybe not even a question, but and I want to try to tie this back cohesively to like what you're saying too, because I think if you're talking about seasons and like going from one year to the next, like if I think about how I am, and I don't want, again, we have no track, but I really don't want to get off track here either. But I was just thinking about what 2025 like consisted of for us,
Hmm.
and like specifically yours and my relationship. And I was thinking about myself personally as you were talking as well, where I was like thinking about the seasons that we transitioned in
Hmm.
together as friends and brothers in 2025. And there was some really tough moments, you
Hmm.
know, especially in your personal life. And then I thought about myself and I'm like, man, I am really a transitioner of energy. I know how to give it out. I don't really know how to receive it. So
Oh, what do you mean?
like your divorce and like
Hmm.
walking next to you through your divorce was easy for me because I can give out energy and I can give out presence and I can give out being, support and I can give out,
Yeah.
but sometimes I don't transition well to being able to receive that when
Ah,
that
okay.
season of someone else's is over because, and it might, from like the service level be over, but at the same time, there's still feelings and all that. So we have to continue this, right? It's like a continual process, but at the same time, like the brunt of how extreme that was is over. And so for 14 months, I had to transition energy differently. And then we came out of that in 2025 where you started to get new life and like be built back up, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
you started to pour back my direction. And I'm like, I've never been good at refunneling or like switching the position of the funnel to come back the other direction. So again, don't want to get off track, but it was just something I was thinking about. And I don't know if you have like the
Yeah,
2 minutes on that.
I do. But I mean, if we don't want to go track, we can circle back around to that. But I do have questions around it.
Okay.
Um, you know what? Fine. We'll just go through it now. Do you think so? I'll start off with my experience with it, and then I'll see if it matches your experience with it. And
Okay.
so, my experience of receiving can sometimes feel like I can be less than, or I'm in this need of help, or in this like state of help. And sometimes it can make me feel less of a man at times because I'm
Inferior.
like inferior, right? It can make me feel like a little more inferior to go, and that's why sometimes it's hard for me to receive, right? Or when somebody wants to bring me like food or wants to bring me like something, I'm like, no, I don't, I can do it myself. But really, I'm just blocking that person's blessing. Like they're just trying to bless me. They don't care if I can afford it or not. Like they're just wanting to do it, right? And so for me, I know sometimes it can make me feel like inferior to that to go. And maybe that's my own crap that I've been throughout my entire life. But I'm not sure if that's something that you feel as well at times where you're going, I don't know if I need the help. Like I'm just fine. Like my wife and I are working through it, type thing. You know.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people do,
Hmm.
and specifically men too. But I think, and this is like a good tie to like how God's working in your life,
Hmm.
as you're pertaining it to, transitioning into 2026 and what you're hoping to align with when it comes to your heart, and what He's calling you to do. But I feel like we find ourselves in this position, like what we're just talking about with our relationship with Christ specifically,
Hmm.
um, where you feel that way. You feel like I'm finding this really difficult to be vulnerable or to feel inferior because I need help. Well, that process of you getting comfortable to finally letting go sometimes matches the lengths that someone else is willing to go to pull it out of you. Do you see what I'm saying? And sometimes you miss either direction you go. So sometimes if it took you 3 months to finally let go and like open up and get vulnerable, but it takes 2.5 months for me to finally go, I don't really care anymore, then
Hmm.
we're kind of missing an opportunity there, right? Because like you check out, it's like, and then the other person, the original person, gets offended or not offended, but like hurt by this because it's like, man, I finally got vulnerable. Now you don't really care, but you're trying to match this process, and
Yeah.
that's the most unique thing about relationships, and and I think that's also why it's important to make sure you're in the right relationships because if you're distinctly years or 6 months off of those uh, factors with someone else, then you're never aligned. And then you never
Hmm.
really have these breakthrough moments, which you and I have. We
Yeah.
just kind of had to like, I need to back off a little bit. You need to go forward a little bit. And then it switched. And so I find that we do that with Christ too, where it's like, especially when we're transitioning out of seasons, we're just like, we hold on, we hold on, we hold on and then we let go. But then, like by our own design, something happens or whatever the case is, and then we turn around and we blame God. It's like, well, you never, I'm finally doing this, and then no one
Hmm.
cares, which is not, it's not accurate. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah, we do that a lot. I do that a lot.
So, I mean, I agree with you, like to
Hmm.
an extent that, yeah, it's difficult for me too. It's easy for me to be at a support system, but it's not easy for me to transition out of that. If I've
Yeah.
if I've been support, 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 like how long does that take? That's my problem. It's like
Right.
how long does my support take for it to transition back to me getting support? We talked about that in the Bones of West Texas, like
Hmm.
feeling like, and I don't feel that way from you, but it's because of what I've experienced in the past that makes it difficult for me to receive what you're trying to pour into me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or get
Yeah.
back. And those are the things that like 2026, we're entering a new year for me, really opens up in reflection, almost like a mirror of like, oh crap, I didn't do this very well last year. Like I was not very vulnerable, or I was not very good at receiving the compliments that my wife gives me, or um, taking a step of or a leap of faith in this area, or whatever the case is. And so
Hmm.
it's I don't know, it's unique.
Yeah. 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 I definitely see that as well. Um, I think just internalizing it in real time
Yeah.
here
It's a
of
lot.
like it's a lot, but like because we've talked about these little things as well, right? About like, hey, you're retreating, or hey, it feels like there's a disconnect from here to here, right? And your natural ability is just to go, well, I'm going to hide out until I figure this out, right? Like we're going to like, I'm going to retreat and go, hey, like everything's fine, but hey, I'm doing this on my own right now, right? Instead of going the other way and going, hey, like that we're doing life together, right? And so, like, bringing that invitation to the forefront and going, hey, like, I'm going to invite you in. And then that is the vulnerability, right? That's the vulnerable space to go, okay, I'm going to open up this little part so that way I can, and so on. And then as more you do it, the more vulnerable you're able to get, the more comfortable you get. But it takes that, right? Because it took that for me with the divorce, right? Because it was like, well, this is a very touchy subject. It's a hard thing in general already, right? But then you add the layer of complexity of the Christian faith on top of it, and it becomes harder, and it can weigh you down a little bit more shame than anything else as well, right? And so there's a lot there because I think the world in and of itself will celebrate divorce, right? And people of the world will can too. Or they'll go, "Oh, you didn't need her anyways. Like she was bad for you." Right? We talked about this, right? Just having friends that would like just buy into that, right? And then not having that, and then not having those friends that do that, right? We don't do that. But what I'm painting the picture as is the complexity of everything. And so it was hard for me to be vulnerable because I was like, well, crap, right? It's kind of like bringing all your secrets to the forefront, or not even secrets. It's just bringing everything. It's like bringing the stuff that's in the rooms that you haven't let God into yet, and and bringing them and going, okay, I want to be vulnerable in all these areas up front. Now, it was a little easier with you because you didn't judge me, right? Like
Oh, I
there
judged
wasn't.
the crap out of you, dude. You
I'm
don't
sure
even
you did.
have to.
I'm sure you did, man. I'm sure you did. That's why you
Still
gotta.
today, like, I'm like,
You have a
"I
vanilla
feel
bean
bad
hat.
for you."
But no, man, I think like it was easy for me to do it. It was easy. It felt easy. Afterward, it felt shameful, but it felt easy in the moments, I should say. But yeah, man. I'm gonna try to run. We need to try to wrap this around here now.
Well,
Yes,
I think it's, like, off the original question, like, transitioning and the things that you're doing to, like, um, the structures you're putting in place,
yeah,
like, premeditated in alignment with God and prayerfulness, faithfulness to, or, like, seeking of, like, Christ and, like, his plan for your life for the next year.
yeah.
It does kind of all come back full circle because a lot of times we enter in, and that's why I say, like, I really don't do New Year's resolutions, because a resolution, in my opinion, for a new year is you just being honest about the things that are just obvious and
Hmm.
not uncovering the things that are not so obvious. And
Oh,
I think
interesting.
that,
What's an example of that?
I don't know if I could come up with like an example off the top of my head, but like what we're talking about now, like I know the not so obvious thing was that I'm not a good receiver
Okay.
to me, because in the moment, like you said, it's easy. Like in the moment, like I'm just like, oh no, I'm good. You know, this and this. Like, so an obvious thing for me would be like, I need to like change my health and my diet and like different things like
Right.
that. That's why we go back to those things, because those are obvious. We've made mistakes over the course of like a year, but like I'm in the process and in the business right now of like trying to let God uncover, like letting
Hmm.
him, because he gives us free will. But I like, you can't really see my hands, but like I hold on to these things
Hmm.
subconsciously that I'm not allowing him to uncover in my life, that probably either needs surgically removed or even like added unto like my life, that were things
Hmm.
that I didn't have before. And so I don't know if I have like a prime example of that, but
Yeah.
it's something that I've been thinking about this past year for sure.
Yeah. No, I think you're. I think so. I think we're just honestly perfectly right on topic.
Yeah.
Um, we touched on it on the phone. I think yesterday, the day before yesterday, where I was like, "Hey, I want to do things consistently that feel good, right?" And so, and then letting God like enter into those spaces. so that way I can do that instead of adding all this complexity, right? Going, oh, we're going to do a 3-day fast every quarter, or it could be
Yeah.
working out 6 days a week and compound lift 3 days, circus 2 days, running on Saturdays, and right, and like and then that compounds in other areas of our lives as well, right? Like date nights every week, or and then it just compounds. Next thing you know, our schedules are so filled, and we did it to ourselves. And so instead of doing that, it's going, okay, like I know there's things that I can do consistently. So what can I do consistently today and into next week that is an easy uplift, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Take my vitamins every day. That's an easy thing to do, right? I'll put them by my toothbrush, and just have it stack that, right? I brush teeth in the morning, huh?
Vitamin toothbrush.
Vitamin toothbrush.
Just say.
Man, I don't even want to go
I
down
don't
that
think.
rabbit
Yeah,
hole. I have a lot of questions. I have a
but
lot
you
of
do too.
questions
Like,
about this.
is this possible?
But yeah, so like I'll just have it stack that, right? So okay, I have like 3 or 4 vitamins I need to take in the
Yeah.
morning. So I'll just put them next to my toothbrush, and I'll just take them there. And then it's like, okay, well, what could I do the next week, right? What's another easy uplift, right? Yeah, I have a sauna at the house, so sauna daily, right? 15-20 minutes, super easy. Or like, and it just goes on and on, right? Like, what can you do, right? And then by the time you get to the end of the year, like you've habit stacked so much, and you've been able to accomplish so much because these small incremental changes that that need to happen in your life, but you just do them so small and incrementally that they stack up to a really big change in your life.
Tetris the right way. Yeah. Yeah.
Tetris the right way.
Yeah.
Man, you lost me. What the crap are you talking about?
Tetris. If you play it the
Just
wrong way,
Tetris?
if you stack up the blocks the wrong way on Tetris, your life looks like a big hot mess. Inconsistencies, gaps
Have you ever
here.
stacked them the right way on Tetris?
Yeah.
Have you?
Mhm.
What's your level?
Oh no, not high. I don't have the computing skills for that game. That's a
Mm.
pretty
Yeah,
ridiculous
but
game. But like, if you stack it the right way though, right? Obviously you start to
yeah,
you
you
s-
start to.
it's level though. It's
Yeah,
balanced, it's level. It starts to like things deplete the way you never really reach a burnout because things just kind of deplete
yeah.
the way they're supposed to in the right order is what I'm trying to say. So Tetris the right way.
Tetris the right way. I get it. And so I think exactly. And so if you can just stack it correctly, then over the course of a year, you'll be astonished about what you can accomplish or what you can achieve. Right? You'll be. It's a massive change. It's almost like the idea. Is it Tim Ferriss? 1% better every day. I can't remember if that was him or not.
One
But
of our core values for our business too. Yeah.
yeah, and so it's 1% every day. And so if we can just do that, just 1%, then like it's an amazing change, right? They're life changing things that can happen to you. And so with that, how we structured it, right, is um when I'm doing a 2026 planning meeting or any type of planning meeting, or 2026 planning meeting for this sake, what we're doing here is what are the overall categories that we want to talk about, right? So it's business, it's finances, it's personal, it's relationships, and it's our business, personal, faith, relationships, family, right? And so what do we want to accomplish in all of these pieces, right? And so we start with business, we go high level, right? What on a high level, what do we want to accomplish in business? Well, we want to sustain revenue, want to start advertising, second quarter, sustain the first, right? And then, okay, we want to add relationships. Well, I want to dig into like our relationship more, right? I want to be more intentional about prayer with you, Sarah and Waylon. I want to be more intentional about reaching out. I want to be like there's things I want to do in there, right? Um, I want to find a group of guys that you know that I can and we can do life with as well, right? That we can always have things to bounce off of, and just do life with. I want to. Okay, so what does family look like? Well, we want to go on a few vacations this year, right? So we're going on a cruise in December, right? Going probably to Galveston in March on a fishing trip, and you know, Jessica wants to go on a ski trip in Colorado. I'm like, let's put it on the list, right? If we can make it happen, let's make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Bryson wanted to go to an OKC game, and I was like, okay, let's put it on the list, right? He wanted to go Dallas Mavs or OKC. For some reason, Oklahoma City is freaking stupid expensive. I don't
Yeah.
know why. Their stadium sucks. But we were out where I was like, hey, like we always go fishing, we always do something for Landon, right? So why not, like, why not do something for him as well? So that's what we did. So we went and we bought tickets to the Dallas Mavs and OKC game in March 1st, right? So it's like, let's do these little things, and then you just go down the list, right? And just figure out what does that look like, right? But first and foremost, we need a sounding board. Our sounding board are what what is that verse? What is that Bible verse that we always point back to, right? Does it align, right? And are we making the right decision? So if we want to make a decision about something, then we have to go back to that verse, right? So we have a verse for the business, verse for our family, verse for uh, faith, personal lives, and all that, right? And so that way, when we're making decisions about something, we don't have to try to guess on how we need to make a decision. It's already, the answer is there. We just need to align it now, right? And so now that we have all these things aligned and we've outlined everything, now what we'll do is we'll go deeper, right? So finances, we will lay everything out on the table, and we will figure everything out that we want to get done there, right? And we'll start getting into the nitty gritty of each individual piece, right? We did high level. Let's break it down more now on how we're going to accomplish these big goals, right? I love how Adam Weisner said it, in his Unbreakable OS is you get the big three goals, right? So you have a big three goals, and then you kind of sit down, and I think it's like weekly. I can't remember what it is, but you have a certain amount of time to make a decision on that goal, right? Okay, did you accomplish it? No. Okay, why? This is why. Okay, next one, and kind of go through the process. Same idea, more leniency, but it's just keeping it very structured and small. And so that way, when opportunities come up throughout the year, we have something to bring that up against. So, okay, here's an opportunity. Does it align? No, opportunity doesn't go forward, or we don't capitalize on that opportunity, right?
Okay.
The opportunity has to align with everything that we want to that we want to accomplish, that we feel God is after for us, right? If we can align those things, then that opportunity goes forward.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Which, if you're kind of thinking from like a complexity perspective, kind of seems complex. But
it is and it isn't.
well, it's to the point where it's complex to someone who's chosen like the comfort of like the world. You know what I mean?
Well, of course,
It's
absolutely.
like, well, I don't have money to go to the movies. Well, you
Mhm.
do if you stop eating Chick-fil-A, you know what I mean? Or like going to Starbucks, like you
Right.
technically do. So it's like it's complex because you're using the same complexity points. If I had to use it from like a point perspective, think about like a game or like something where you have to like distribute attribute
Mhm.
points, Like if you take the attribute points away from the things that you shouldn't be doing, then that might and usually balances out to you being able to redirect that passion or energy to those areas of life that you probably should be pouring those attribute points into, right?
Absolutely, and you can scale this up and down. This is just works. This is just for me,
Right.
right? This
And you're
this
very
works. This
technical and that sort of thing.
right, or not even that. It's just, I mean, you can take the same concept, and so and scale it up or down for whatever your goals may be, right? And so like a big, maybe someone's goal this year is uh, I want to I want to sustain the same level of income, or maybe their goal isn't even financial. Maybe it's, I want to intentionally build back the relationships of my family, right? Then then write that out, right? Like family, relationship, personal, and those goals would account to what you feel like you want to get done that year, right? And then you break those down. And so it just depends on the level of a person's goals, right? My goals are different than yours. Yours are different than somebody else's,
Yeah.
right? And so at the end of the day, you just take what you feel like God is actually wanting you to get done, and and what He's kind of pulling you into, and then say, okay, I'm running after that. Like I'm going to actually run after that, right? Because most of the time, if we're already thinking about something that God wants us to do, then we're just looking for our own permission when He's already given it to us, right? And we do that a lot, right? It's like, okay, well, I'm waiting for the sign, or I'm waiting for the moment that He's like says go, or I'm waiting for the moment that it's so obvious that I can't even I can't shake it anymore. But in reality, a lot of times it doesn't look like that. Sometimes it looks like jumping out into faith and going, okay, I'm going to make this happen. And then going, this worked, holy crap, or
Yeah.
didn't, you know? But that's the
Yeah.
beauty of it, right?
Which
That's the beauty of faith is that we're always on this search, right?
Mhm.
In discovery of like, one, God's character, and two, what He wants for our lives, right? And it changes year after year, because He's consistently, pruning us.
Yeah. I'm going to tie it back without us having to go all the way back and discuss this all the way, but I think this is important because I think this is important for people. If I had to give like one thing, and I have like a couple questions for you, kind of quick fire questions. Um, if I had to give you a prime example of something that's obvious versus something that's not as obvious, right, or needs to be uncovered, social media addiction.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's a problem. I knew it was a problem, but I didn't know to like what extent it was a problem. So I decided earlier this month, I believe, or maybe it was going into December. I can't remember. Either way,
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago, right? I decided that I was going to get completely off of social media. I just decided like I wanted all these things I was building a studio and I wanted like to like build this whole kind of like image up. And then I was sitting behind my desk and I was looking how practical it was. And I really didn't like what you were saying about Jessica. Like, do you really like need this? I was sitting there looking at how practical my desk was and how functional it is now. And I was like, wait, why do I need all that kind of stuff? Like, why do I need to
Mm-hmm.
add this or this secondary thing or this extra, whatever it is, piece of tech? I'm like, it really doesn't help me at all because I don't know that I really even have the passion to want to utilize it that way. You know, like the
Mm-hmm.
Hasselblad. Like I would love a Hasselblad because it's a great camera, but bro, I'd get 3 uses out of the Hasselblad and it would hit the shelf because I'm not a photographer right now. Maybe
Right.
the passion eventually becomes something
Mm-hmm.
that I and use it, but right now, like what I'm passionate about is like what we're doing with the podcast. And so any piece of tech that helps out with this, great. Like it's functional. It happens. It has a use every single day. And
Mm-hmm.
so I knew that social media was like an addiction. I knew that it was like not something that I needed to the extent that I was using it for temptations, all these different types of things. I just didn't understand like to what extent it had rooted itself in my life until I got off of it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think about a really cool app, which would be like a plugin app that when you decide you want to take a break from social media, it runs that process through this app that you create that would also track the analytics of how many times you click on that app being logged out. Like if I could track how many times I clicked on Facebook this time at this point and then looked at it and went, "Oh, I'm logged out," and then exited out, it would probably be a stupid amount. And to be able to
Mm-hmm.
see those analytics of like, today you clicked it 120 times but didn't log in. Like, what am I doing? I have a problem. You know what I mean? So like those analytics would be
Mm-hmm.
really, really great. And so I know that that was a big win for me. If I had to think about a win for 2025, I have several, but a big win was
Mm-hmm.
finally pulling the trigger and going, okay, I've felt this for a long time. I'm going to actually put this into action. And what it has done for me and what it has done for our podcast in terms of from a productivity perspective, in terms of like my family and actually feeling like I'm present with my family, my wife and my boy, and to an extent that I'm not like sitting there trying to scroll and we're both not scrolling, all this different stuff has been substantial. So I'm curious for you, um, what was a big win for 2025 and what was a big loss for you for 2025?
Oh, those are two loaded questions. Um, I think a big loss. Man, I was just going through my divorce, probably. I think a big win was coming out the other side happy as hell, man. Just I feel happy again, and that was a huge prayer of mine. And Jessica's prayer was just like I would wake up, and I told you I'd wait. I just want to wake up optimistic again. And today I wake up optimistic.
That's it's actually a really good answer. That's a lot of times we want to get um concrete about something either superficial or materialistic, but to be honed into like whether spiritually or mentally and emotionally, like what you got going on, it's a really good answer.
Yeah, man. That was probably the biggest thing that I wanted this year was just to wake up happy again. And so today I get to wake up happy again. And so,
I'm
yeah,
happy for you.
man, I appreciate that, man. It's
Yeah,
you've had a major help in that.
yeah. I saw you shout out on LinkedIn. I kind of expected more words, but you know, I was like second. I was second on the line, dude. I didn't even like it, dude. I was like, you kidding me? You're gonna mention me second? Who is this Nick? Who's this Nick guy? I hope you watch this. You know?
Oh man, no, like that's funny. Then as I was writing that, I was going to be like, I know he's going to say something.
Yeah.
I was like, I know it's coming.
Appreciate it, man.
No, of course, dude. Of course, man. And I think you know the impact more than anybody. But
Brother,
yeah, man.
if a relationship starts that way, because practically it did, ours did. It was like,
Yeah.
hey, brand new relationship. This is kind of exciting. Hey, by the way, you're gonna be walking with me through like the most difficult part of my life that
Oh
early. If you
gosh.
make it through that in a friendship, you know, it's only what's the right word we're right saying for that? It's only uphill. That's never made any
Yeah.
sense to me. People are like, it's only uphill for me. I'm like, that sounds difficult. Why would downhill not be a great thing? I guess because you're going the wrong direction.
I don't know.
Explain this to me. I don't know.
Because if you
Anyways,
go uphill, then you eventually go downhill as well, right? Because you got to go down. You got to go up, and then you got to go down. You can't just keep going up. I guess.
it's apparently going up is the right way. And I'm like, that sounds like you're working against gravity. That doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. Not my saying. I didn't come
Yeah.
up with it.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have worked through that with you, man. I was very interested in kind of what, your planning aspect for 2026 look like, how that could maybe impact our audience.
Hmm.
Whether they're searching for Christ or they know Christ and they're trying to like get, realigned with their heart, and and create more space for him, especially as we go into a new year, not focusing on the things we didn't do well specifically for the last year, but more importantly, uncovering the things that will help us do better
Hmm.
in the coming year.
Yeah. That's what it's about, man. Just being overall better, right?
Yeah.
Be a good human. Love God. Trust yourself.
Check out our newsletter. Um,
You know
it
what?
is
Have.
it is packed full of all kinds of value, and
I
and you can catch it at the end of this. We're gonna
thought it
put
was
the.
supposed to be a new year, new you. You're being real petty right now.
I didn't say New Year, New Me. Uh,
Not you.
yeah. No, you can catch
Oh
it on this
man.
episode. We're gonna put a fire under Michael because why not?
Anyway, let's figure something. Sorry, everybody. If you guys been clicking a link that doesn't work,
I have no link,
there you
but
go.
people are looking. People are
People are
looking.
looking for it, huh?
Yeah.
You can see that.
I think what I'm gonna do
Unbelievable.
the longer that you continue to mention the newsletter, because I noticed you not
I'm not
mentioning
mentioning it right now.
exactly, but since you already did it several times, I'm going to create a BTS of things, of behind the scenes photos, images of you that you've not seen yet. And that's going to be the link on there. And every time that we meet up, I'm going to snap some new little.
Go for it, man. I'm gonna do you dirty.
You have some of me, dude. I continue to. You're an ammunition person. I see. I see.
For these moments right here, sir.
You're a strategic hater. I
I
got
got
it.
it, man. I
No,
got
no,
my
no.
bullets. I got my bullets ready.
I don't doubt it, dude. I've got a big head. I'm sure you're getting some all kinds of crazy angles.
Hey, listen, I thought I had a big head, then I met you, and I was like, I'm good.
I have a very large head, but it's okay.
Yeah, man. This is a good one, man. I like this.
Everyone, appreciate you. Thank you for following us. We're a year and a half into this rebrand. We're going to continue to bring you guys value on every episode. We're just so excited to be aligned with our purpose, and I think the core value and message of like what this podcast is. And
Mhm.
we're just going to continue to surrender this to the Lord, to pray about it, to be diligent about the path that we need to take for this and the tone of voice that we need to take for this show. And so we're just so thankful for all the support for 2025, and we're looking forward to an exciting 2026.
Awesome. Thank you all. We appreciate you guys. See ya.